Imagine pulling into your quiet suburban street after a long business trip, only to see black smoke billowing like a bad omen from hell. Your dream home reduced to a raging inferno. And standing there smirking is the neighborhood's self-appointed queen bee, clipboard in hand, ready to lecture you on community standards while your life goes up in flames. That's exactly what hit Alex Rivera like a freight train that crisp autumn afternoon in Willow Creek, Virginia, a picture-perfect enclave where manicured lawns hid a cesspool of petty dictatorships. But oh, folks, this wasn't just bad luck. It was the opening salvo in a war where the underdog, smeared as the local troublemaker, would flip the script with ice-cold precision, exposing the HOA's rotten core and leaving their leaders squirming in hilarious, karmic defeat. Alex had always been the odd one out in Willow Creek. Not because he was some wild rebel with a junkyard for a yard, no. His place was spotless, grass clipped to HOA-approved height, trash bins tucked away like obedient soldiers. But whispers followed him like shadows. That guy's shady, probably hiding something, they'd say at block parties he skipped. Truth was, Alex was a cybersecurity analyst for a low-key government contractor, the kind who spent days unraveling digital knots for Uncle Sam. He'd bought his cozy two-story colonial 12 years back, paid it off early, and turned it into a haven with a small veggie garden out back. No fences, no fuss. But the Willow Creek Homeowners Association? They saw his refusal to sign their bloated covenant as a personal affront. Everyone joins. Alex, they'd coo in those saccharine newsletters. It's for the greater good. Greater good. My ass, it was a power grab. Plain and simple. With fees that funded nothing but the board's ego trips. The president, Karen Whitaker. Oh, where to start with her? Picture a woman in her mid-50s, yoga pants perpetually ironed, pearls choking her neck like a noose of faux elegance. She spoke in that nasal, condescending tone, always reminding folks about rules nobody voted on. We maintain order here, she'd say, eyes narrowing behind designer glasses. But behind the scenes, she was a puppet master, twisting rumors to isolate dissenters, all while fearing any challenge to her throne. Alex had heard the gossip. He's antisocial, probably dealing drugs or something. Bullshit, of course, but it stuck, making neighbors cross the street when he waved. He bore it silently, observing their little games with an analyst's eye, logging every passive-aggressive note slipped under his door, every sidelong glance at HOA meetings he spied on from afar. Patience was his weapon. He'd strike when the iron was hot. Or in this case, when his house was. The smoke hit him first, acrid and thick, clawing at his throat as he rounded the bend in his sensible hybrid sedan. Flames licked the sky, devouring the roof like a hungry beast, shards of glass popping from windows in explosive bursts. Alex slammed on the brakes, heart pounding, briefcase tumbling to the floorboards. "What the hell?" he muttered, bolting out and sprinting toward the chaos. Neighbors clustered like vultures on the opposite sidewalk, phones up, filming for their social feeds, but not a soul lifting a finger to help. Fire engines idled nearby, hoses coiled, the blaze already tamed to smoldering ruins. Total gut job. His sanctuary, gone. And then, that voice shrill, triumphant, slicing through the murmurs like a chainsaw. Such a tragedy, Alex. But perhaps this will teach you the value of community cooperation. There she stood, Karen Whitaker, clipboard poised like a shield, her platinum bob unmussed, lips curled in what she probably thought was sympathy, but looked more like a cat eyeing a cornered mouse. "We've been warning you for years. Refusing the HOA is like spitting on everything we stand for: standards, unity, property values." She adjusted her pearls, oblivious to the embers flickering behind her, as if this were just another finicky yard inspection. Alex stood frozen, suit rumpled from the drive, staring at the charred skeleton of his life. You think this is my fault?" he stammered, voice cracking for the first time in years. The house he'd poured his soul into, family photos, his late mom's recipe books, the server room where he tinkered on side projects, all ash. Karen clucked her tongue, that signature move of hers, like a disappointed schoolmarm. "Well, if you'd signed on like a responsible neighbor, maybe we'd have caught those issues sooner. Faulty wiring, overgrown bushes, who knows what hazards lurk when folks go rogue." She glanced at her entourage, 2 board members, Bob the accountant with his perpetual sweat stains, and Linda the communications liaison, who specialized in anonymous complaint letters. They nodded sagely, as if arson was just another HOA violation. The fire chief, a burly guy wiping soot from his brow, approached hesitantly. "Mr. Rivera?" Preliminary look. This wasn't accidental. Accelerants on the porch, some kind of timed igniter. Smells like gasoline mixed with household chems. "We're calling it suspicious. Arson." The word hung heavy, and Alex's gaze locked on Karen, who fidgeted ever so slightly, her clipboard trembling. "Probably vandals," she sniffed. "This is why we push for gated access. Security cams. Benefits you'd enjoy if you weren't so independent." Her smile was tight, predatory. "But don't worry. The board will discuss relief funds at our next meeting. For members only, of course." Alex's blood boiled, but he swallowed it, that analyst calm kicking in. "Proud of maintaining order. Huh? Even if it means watching a man's home burn." She huffed and pivoted away, heels clicking on the pavement, Bob and Linda trailing like loyal lapdogs. The crowd dispersed. No condolences, just awkward shuffles. They thought he'd fold, another victim of their whisper campaign. Big mistake. They didn't know Alex's day job involved dismantling networks far more sinister than their petty fiefdom. He pulled out his phone, dialing a contact from work. "This is Alex Rivera. I need forensics on a fire arson confirmed. Loop in the feds. This reeks of organized harassment." Little did Karen know, Alex wasn't just any analyst. He consulted on federal cybercrimes, with clearances that opened doors faster than her clipboard could slam them shut. Within the hour, unmarked vans rolled in, agents in crisp suits swarming the site like ants on sugar. They cordoned off the lot, snapping photos of melted debris, bagging samples from the back deck where the fire had roared hottest. "Mr. Rivera," lead agent Ellis said, "clipboard free and all business. Residue suggests potassium permanganate and glycerol, DIY fire starter. Not pro but deliberate. Any enemies?" Alex glanced at Karen's McMansion down the block, her SUV gleaming in the driveway. "Not enemies plural. Try the HOA board. They've been gunning for me since I wouldn't join their cult." Ellis raised an eyebrow. "HOA? Those busybodies with lawn rules." Alex nodded. "Busy enough to spread lies, tamper with mail, maybe worse. I've got logs, emails, notes, even overheard chats." As agents fanned out, Karen emerged from her fortress, arms folded, sunglasses perched like armor. Flanked by Bob and Linda, she marched over. "What's all this? Federal overkill for a little wiring mishap?" Her voice dripped honeyed venom. "Alex, darling, accusations without proof? That's libelous. We're just volunteers keeping this neighborhood pristine." Alex met her gaze, voice steady. "Libel? Nah, that's for lies. This is timelines and traces. Your SUV was spotted leaving the area pre-dawn on traffic cams." Coincidence? Her jaw tightened, but she forced a laugh. "Preposterous. I was walking my dog. Early riser, you know. For health." Bob chimed in, voice quavering. "Yeah, and that chem stuff could be from anyone's garage. We mandate clean floors, but hey, accidents happen." Ellis interjected dryly, "We'll subpoena footage from every doorbell cam in the subdivision. If there's a match, it's game over." Karen's facade cracked, just a flicker, her pearls suddenly too tight. "This is harassment. We're the victims here. Dealing with non-compliers like him erodes our authority." She stormed off, muttering about calling her lawyer, leaving Alex with a grim smile. The whispers had turned. Neighbors peeked from windows, sensing the tide shift. Temporary digs came via a buddy from his contracting days. A no-frills apartment across town. HOA-free bliss. Alex dove into his element. Laptop open. Cross-referencing HOA minutes, publicly available. The idiots with anomaly reports from past residents. Patterns emerged. A family whose car tires were slashed after questioning fees. An old lady's garden mysteriously salted post-complaint. Coincidences? Karen always called them in emails. But Alex's cyber skills unearthed deleted forum posts where board members joked about enforcement tactics. He fed it all to Ellis. 48 hours later, forensics nailed it. The igniter was a crude mix. Fingerprints smudged but partials matching gloves from Bob's hardware store purchase. Receipts tied to his card. And that SUV? Plates confirmed. Dash cam from a nearby intersection catching Karen's profile in the driver's seat at 3:07 a.m. Sloppy, Ellis chuckled over the phone. Warrants incoming. The arrests were whisper quiet. No sirens, just agents knocking at dawn. Karen in her robe, hair in curlers, sputtering as cuffs clicked. This is outrageous. I'm president. For the community. Bob blubbered about misunderstandings. Linda sang like a canary mid-ride. Charges, arson conspiracy, property destruction, and get this, RICO for the pattern of racketeering. Turns out, Willow Creek's HOA was a mini-mob, targeting opt-outs with vandalism, fake liens, even pet scares to force compliance. Alex watched from afar, that patient fire igniting. Neighbors who'd shunned him now texted apologies. We didn't know, he replied curtly, saving energy for the unraveling. The board's emails surfaced, Karen's gems like, stubborn types like Rivera need a wake-up call. Make it hot, black humor at its finest. Folks, laughable if it wasn't so vile. Tensions simmered as the investigation ballooned. Karen, out on bail, rallied her dwindling loyalists at an emergency meeting in her garage. Clipboards mandatory. Of course. This is a witch hunt, she wailed to the dozen attendees, voice cracking. Alex is the real threat, undermining our values with his independence. Bob nodded frantically, sweat beading. We just wanted uniformity. Is that a crime? A neighbor, emboldened, piped up. Uniformity? You find me $200 for a bird feeder that clashed with the pallet. And now arson? You're unhinged. Karen's face purpled. That feeder was tacky, and the fire? Probably self-inflicted for insurance. Classic non-complier trick. The room erupted in murmurs. Two walked out. Alex, tipped off by a mole, recorded it all via a hidden app on an attendee's phone. More ammo. Media caught wind. Suburban HOA accused of torching dissenter's home. National outlets piled on, painting Willow Creek as a dystopian cul-de-sac. Karen's interviews were gold, Mia my gold. On local TV, she preened, "We're guardians of harmony." Alex, he's always been. Rumors say he's into shady tech stuff. The anchor pressed, "But evidence points to your involvement." She huffed, "Fake news. Our rules save lives. Imagine if his garden attracted pests." Alex countered anonymously online, leaking sanitized docs. Public outrage swelled. Petitions to dissolve the HOA hit thousands. Karen's grip slipped. She started micromanaging harder. Fining for suspicious loitering, aka walking dogs post 8 p.m. "It's for safety," she'd email. But it backfired. More residents flipping to witnesses. One, a retired cop, confessed to seeing Bob skulking near Alex's yard nights before. "Thought it was weeding," he admitted sheepishly. The rot deepened. Audits revealed misappropriated dues. $600K funneled to Karen's consulting firm, spa days, luxury SUVs. Ties to city officials emerged, bribes for ignoring complaints. Alex, ever the observer, connected dots to a councilman who'd blocked his solar panel permit years back. Non-compliant property, the denial read. Now, exposed as payback. As trial loomed, Karen's desperation peaked in absurd ways. She hosted a solidarity bake sale for legal fees, peddling overpriced cookies door to door. "Support your board. Fight the tyranny of individualism," she'd chirp. Alex's new neighbors he'd rented nearby laughed it off. "Tyranny? Lady, you burned a house." Her face during one rejection, priceless, twisted in righteous fury, yet comically deflated. Court day arrived, federal courthouse buzzing. Alex, in his crisp suit, sat witness row, watching Karen enter, makeup caked, pearls gleaming, but eyes darting like a trapped rat. Prosecutor Mia Torres opened, "This isn't about lawns or paint colors. It's a criminal syndicate masquerading as neighborhood watch, using terror to enforce whims." Evidence paraded, emails, footage, ledgers with Alex marked T3, extreme measures, purge. On stand, Alex detailed the smears. "They called me a recluse, a risk. All because I wouldn't pay for their power plays." Defense grilled, "Isn't this vendetta? Your job gives unfair access." Alex smirked subtly. "Access? Try evidence you left like breadcrumbs." "Arson isn't a disagreement. It's felony stupid." Then, turncoat Linda testified. Karen said, "If words won't work, flames will." We laughed. Thought it was joke. The gallery gasped. Karen whispered furiously to her lawyer. More witnesses piled on, victims of pet poisonings, fake complaints. Karen's defense? Hyperbole. We meant metaphorical fire. Passion for rules. The jury stifled snickers. Even the judge rolled eyes. Climax hit with a recording. Karen's voice. "Burn the resistance if needed. Property values demand it." Jury out 6 hours, guilty all counts. Sentencing. Karen 20 years. Bob 15. Linda 10. Plea deal. Rico dismantled the HOA. Assets seized. distributed to victims. Willow Creek, reformed new ordinance for transparency. No more unchecked boards. Months later, Alex rebuilt. Not identical, but freer wildflowers instead of hedges. A no HOA zone sign winking from the lawn. Neighbors barbecued openly. Kids played without fines. Karen, rotting in prison. Her empire a punchline. Alex sipped coffee on his porch, watching a family move in across the street, no clipboard in sight. But here's the kicker. Folks, was the HOA truly evil? Or just everyday folks drunk on a little power? True or false? In suburbia, the real monster is the rulebook that turns neighbors into tyrants? Drop your thoughts below. Did justice serve? Or did it overkill?